There comes a moment when you realize that chasing never creates love. It only creates distance. What if I told you the secret to having your special person pursue you without lifting a finger, without pleading, without doubt? The truth is, attraction begins in the unseen realm, long before a word is spoken. By shifting your inner world, you command the outer one. This is not manipulation, it is alignment. Stay with me, because in the next few moments, you'll discover how to awaken the magnetic force within you that makes your SP chase you naturally and irresistible. Stop chasing. Start receiving. One shift inside makes them run toward you. The effortless chase begins the moment you believe. When you hear the words and the power of inner assumption, you may think it is something simple, perhaps even ordinary, but I assure you it is the most extraordinary law of life. For what you hold within yourself, what you claim to be true in the quiet corridors of your mind, must one day step forth into the visible stage of your world. Every figure who enters, every gesture that is made toward you, every pursuit, every word of affection spoken, it is not born from them, but from you. They are actors, compelled by the script you have already written within. Consider for a moment that your entire world is but a mirror. You stand before it, and what do you see? Only the reflection of the face you present. Can the mirror show a smile if you are frowning? Can it reveal joy if you are drenched in sorrow? No, the mirror is not a creator. It only reflects. So it is with your SP. They cannot bring to you a love you have not first assumed within. If you see yourself as unloved, unwanted, or forgotten, the mirror of life must obediently present you with scenes of neglect and silence. But should you dare, even in the face of evidence to the contrary, to assume that you are already cherished, already pursued, already desired, then the mirror cannot resist. It must reflect it back. Do not look for signs first in the outer world, for you will be disappointed. The outer world is a delayed echo, a shadow of the reality you carry inside. When you sit alone and enter the quiet of your imagination, there is where the seed is planted. And as surely as night follows day, that seed will break through into form. Your SP must come, not because you forced it, not because you begged, not because you chased, but because you assumed it as natural, inevitable, already done. I tell you, assumption is not mere daydreaming. It is not idle fancy. It is the conscious act of clothing yourself with the feeling of the wish fulfilled. It is the inner conviction that says, then I am already who I desire to be. When you walk in that conviction, when you wear it as a garment, reality reshapes itself around you. The one you call your SP will sense it without knowing why. They will feel a pull, an irresistible magnet drawing them closer because your inner assumption has already written the part they am. You may wonder, but how can something so invisible create such visible results? And I say, is it not the invisible seed that gives birth to the towering tree? Is it not the unseen thought that moves the hand to action? The unseen always precedes the seen. So in this unseen chamber of your mind, hold yourself as loved, as wanted, as the very center of affection. Let it be so real that the outer world pales in comparison. Let it be so vivid that when you open your eyes, you are more convinced of the unseen reality than of the evidence around you. Do not be fooled by time. Time is but the servant of assumption. It may appear that nothing has changed, that your SP is silent, that they are distant. But if you persist, if you remain faithful to the inner conviction, the silence must break, the distance must collapse, and the chase must begin. For assumption does not fail, it is law. It is the golden key that turns every lock. Perhaps you have tried chasing, pleading, convincing. Did it not leave you weary? Did it not place you in the role of the one seeking rather than the one sought? Understand this, the one who chases declares, by their very act, sight, do not yet have, and the world mirrors it faithfully. But the one who assumes says, indeed, is already mine, and the world rushes to confirm it. Which role will you play? The weary pursuer, or the one so certain of love that love cannot help but run after them? So tonight, in the quiet of your room, close your eyes and take the inward journey. See yourself as already adored. Feel the presence of your speed reaching for you, calling for you, longing for you, not as a wish, not as a hope, but as an accomplished fact. And when you rise from that chair, carry yourself with the dignity of one already loved. Move through your day with the ease of one who does not chase, but who is chased. Speak with the confidence of one who knows they are the prize. For when assumption becomes natural, reality has no choice but to obey. And remember, you need not broadcast your belief to the world. The creative act is silent. It is within. Others may see no change in you, but the world unseen is shifting, reordering itself, arranging the perfect circumstances to bring your SP to your door. They will not even know why they feel compelled, why thoughts of you suddenly flood their mind, why every other face pales in comparison. But you will know it is the power of inner assumption at work, calling forth the reflection you have already chosen to see. For many, the greatest stumbling block lies in the effort itself. They believe that by straining, by grasping, by constantly reaching out, they will achieve the very thing they long for. Yet, the opposite is true. Effort declares separation. Strain whispers, it is not yet mine. And as long as that whisper is entertained, the mirror of life must echo it back. You see, the outer pursuit fueled by desperation is nothing more than proof that the inner conviction is weak. Hen, the heart is at rest. When the mind is quiet and secure in its assumption, the chase begins, not from you, but toward you. Think of the river. It flows without struggle, without argument, without resistance. Its power is not in forcing the current, but in surrendering to its natural course. So it is with desire. The moment you surrender to the feeling of already being loved, already being sought after, you align yourself with the current of inevitability. It will carry you with ease. But the moment you resist, the moment you strive, you step out of the current and exhaust yourself, swimming against the stream of your own creation. Have you not noticed that when you desperately reach, people pull away? The energy of effort pushes them back. It is as though an invisible wall forms between you and the one you long for. But the instant you drop the need to prove, the instant you rest in the quiet assurance that love is yours, that wall dissolves and they are drawn closer. The absence of strain is the magnet. Stillness is the true pursuit. Some will say, but if I do nothing, will nothing happen? That is the illusion. You are never doing nothing when you assume. You are performing the highest act of creation. To rest in the fulfilled state is the greatest work you could ever accomplish. Outward action, born of desperation, is weak, but inward rest, clothed in certainty, bends the world in your favor. Look at the child who falls asleep imagining themselves a hero. They do not wake in the night to worry, to strive, to argue with the dream. They rest fully surrendered to its reality. And what happens? The subconscious accepts it as fact, and life begins to weave circumstances to confirm the child's vision. In the same way, when you let go of effort and sink into the feeling of being already loved, already wanted, the deeper self accepts it. From that acceptance, the outer world must form the evidence. It is not about passivity, it is about mastery. To drop strain is not to abandon desire, but to trust the law of its fulfillment. Strain is a confession of unbelief. Rest is the confession of certainty. The one who strains is forever chasing shadows. The one who rests calls the shadow into substance. And your SP, being but a reflection, cannot resist the call. They feel it, though they cannot explain it. They find themselves thinking of you, compelled to reach out, to pursue, to seek your presence, for your rest has written their role. I tell you, the moment you stop struggling is the moment the current of life rushes to meet you. The very silence of your heart becomes thunder in their world. The quiet confidence of your mind becomes a voice they cannot ignore. They will say, Sait, I don't know why, but I must see you. Shion will be effortless, natural, born from conviction rather than from lack. It will not be the grasping hand of fear, but the graceful step of one already complete. When you drop the strain, your words change, your energy changes, your very presence radiates assurance. And that assurance is irresistible. Your SP will sense it long before they can explain it. They will chase you, not because you demanded it, but because your effortless certainty has made it inevitable. So, examine your heart. Are you still straining, still doubting, still trying to force what is already yours? Then pause. Breathe. Return within. Rest in the simple truth that what you assume inwardly is already unfolding outwardly. Let go of the noise. The stillness will do more for you in one moment than 1,000 acts of desperation ever could. For it is not effort that brings love. It is faith in the unseen. And when faith becomes your dwelling place, effort fades and the chase begins, not by you, but toward you. To live in the end is to inhabit the very state you once believed was distant. It is to step beyond hope, beyond waiting, beyond longing, and to rest in the assurance that what you seek is already yours. When you live in the end, you no longer wake each morning asking if today will be the day. You rise with the quiet certainty that the day has already arrived in the unseen, and because it has arrived within, it cannot fail to appear without. Imagine for a moment that you have already been pursued, already been claimed by the love you desire. Do not place it in the future. Do not see it as something that might happen, but as something that has already taken place. The ring is already on your hand. The laughter is already shared. The affection is already yours. If you dare to feel this as true, even for a moment, you step into the end. And the end draws the means. Life reshapes itself around that assumption. Your SP will not know why they are compelled to play the part, but they will. They will align themselves with the scene you have already accepted as reality. When you live in the end, you cease the restless scanning of the outer world. You no longer check the phone with anxious eyes, no longer measure their silence as proof of neglect, for your proof is inward. Your evidence is the inner scene you hold so vividly that it eclipses all appearances. If the outer world seems unchanged, it does not matter, for the end is secure, and the end is always stronger than the journey. Do not be fooled by appearances. They may scream delay, they may whisper rejection, they may seem to deny your desire. But if you stand firm in the end, appearances will bow. The world has no choice but to rearrange itself to confirm what you have inwardly embraced. The moment you persist in the end, every force, every person, every circumstance is drafted into its fulfillment. And your SP, being but an actor on this stage, will move in perfect alignment, though they may believe it is their own will leading them. This is the great secret. The outer world is powerless against the inner conviction. When you live in the end, you are no longer the seeker, you are the possessor. And possession, once felt, cannot be denied. The heart that knows itself loved cannot be abandoned. The mind that knows itself chosen cannot be ignored. Your SP is but a mirror reflecting the state you dare to hold. Many ask, how can I live in the end when I see no sign of it in my life? And I say signs are irrelevant until the inner shift is made. Do not wait for the outer to convince you. Convince yourself within, and the outer must follow. The actor does not wait for the audience to clap before stepping into his role. He embodies the character, and the applause comes naturally. You too must embody the role of the loved one, the pursued one, the chosen one. Then the applause, the chase, the affection, the pursuit will come as surely as the echo follows the sound. It is not imagination in the weak sense of the word, it is imagination in its truest power. It is creation. When you enter the scene of the end, when you feel the touch of the one you love, when you hear their voice calling your name with tenderness, when you walk with them in the vision of fulfillment, you are not fantasizing, you are planting the seed in the soil of the unseen. And as the seed grows in silence, as it takes root in the depths of your being, it must one day break forth into your world. Living in the end is not about waiting, it is about being. It is about carrying yourself with the dignity of one already fulfilled. It is about speaking with the ease of one who no longer doubts. It is about moving through your day with the quiet joy of one whose desire is an accomplished fact. And when you live this way, others notice. Your SP notices. They sense the shift. They feel the change. They are drawn to it like iron to a magnet. For no one can resist the one who lives in the end. To live in the end is to radiate certainty, and certainty is irresistible. It does not plead, it does not grasp, it does not chase. It simply is. And because it is, it commands recognition. Your SP may try to ignore it, but the pull will be too strong. They will feel the truth of your inner conviction and will be compelled to fulfill the role you have already assigned to them. So live in the end as though it were the only reality. Refuse to step back into doubt, no matter what your senses tell you, for senses are liars until the end is made manifest. Hold to the unseen with such clarity, such persistence, that the seen has no choice but to bow. Then, without effort, without chase, without struggle, your SP will come to you, not as one coerced, but as one who cannot resist, for the end has already claimed them, and the end is inevitable. To become the version of yourself that is irresistible, to embody the self that naturally draws your SP toward you, is the next step in this unseen work. It is not merely about it is about transformation. You cannot hold them in your world if you are not first complete within yourself. The inner self, the one that walks with confidence, that moves with dignity, that radiates the love you wish to receive, is the magnet. If your self-concept is weak, if it trembles in the face of absence or doubt, then the outer world must reflect that weakness. But if you know yourself to be worthy, beloved, and desired, your SP cannot help but be drawn. Consider the power of your inner self as the sun is to the planets. The planets do not chase the sun. They are bound by the gravity of its presence. They move in perfect obedience to the force that holds them. So too with your SP. Your self-concept is the gravity. If it is strong, certain, luminous, they cannot resist your orbit. And the beauty of this is that nothing needs to be done outwardly. The transformation occurs entirely within. You do not speak, you do not plead, you do not act. You simply become, and everything follows. Many fail at this because they believe the outer must first change them. They think that if their SP shows a sign, if they smile, if they reach out, only then can they feel confident. Only then can they assume the end. But this is backward. Confidence is not born from outer proof, it is born from inner acceptance. The self that feels complete in solitude, that is already adored in imagination, is the self that becomes irresistible in reality. The outer only confirms what the inner already knows. Ask yourself, who am I in the presence of love? Who am I when I am fully chosen, fully desired? See yourself not as needy, not as waiting, but as whole. See yourself as the prize, the embodiment of the love you wish to receive. Let your posture, your gaze, your very essence communicate certainty and grace. There is a subtle language here, a language of being that transcends words. Your SP perceives it even before they meet you. It is felt in the air, sensed in the energy that surrounds you. And understand this, self-concept is not static. It is formed moment by moment, thought by thought, feeling by feeling. Each time you dwell in doubt, you weaken the pull. Each time you assume your worth, your desirability, your completeness, you strengthen it. This is why the inner work cannot be rushed or neglected. It is the foundation upon which the pursuit of your SP is built. Without it, the chase is inconsistent. With it, it is inevitable. Notice too that this self-concept carries freedom. It is not coercive. It does not manipulate. It simply exists as a fact, and facts cannot be denied. When your SP encounters this self, they do not resist, they are compelled, they are drawn, not by strategy or persuasion, but by the undeniable reality of your being. It is as if the universe itself conspires to bring them to your orbit, for the energy you emit is the call, and they respond instinctively. Many spend years in pursuit, failing to see that they are asking the outer to compensate for an inner lack. The eyes plead, the words entreat, the actions chase, but all of this is a reflection of doubt. Change the self-concept, and all of this is reversed. Your SP begins to notice, to reach, to long for you. The outer becomes effortless because the inner has taken its place. Effort is replaced by presence. Chasing is replaced by magnetism. I say to you, step into the fullness of yourself. Let every thought, every feeling, every silent affirmation speak of the reality you have assumed. Let your inner vision be so vivid, so alive, that it permeates your entire being. Walk through your day as the embodiment of love received, cherished, and desired. Speak, act, and move from this place, and watch as the outer world bends to the unseen certainty within. And remember, the self you cultivate is not temporary or conditional. It is the state that must precede every manifestation. If your SP is to chase you, they will do so because your inner self is complete, unwavering, magnetic. Nothing they do or fail to do can alter this force. Your self-concept is the law. When it is perfected, the outer world conforms naturally. When it is neglected, the outer world resists. See now that every gesture, every smile, every word you imagine from your SP is an echo of the self you have assumed. You are not acting for them, you are acting for yourself, for the inner reality that demands expression. And in that expression, the chase becomes natural, inevitable, and effortless. Your SP is simply responding to the gravitational pull of the self you have become, drawn into your orbit not by chance, but by the undeniable power of your assumed completeness. So cultivate this self relentlessly, joyfully, and without doubt. Allow it to shine in silence. Let it radiate in every quiet thought, every confident step, every unseen feeling. The SP you desire will feel it. They will be drawn to it as surely as the tide moves to meet the moon. And you will know that the secret is never in their actions, never in persuasion, never in outer effort. It is in the total, unwavering, magnetic self-concept you hold within. Once your self-concept has been strengthened, once you have fully assumed the state of being desired, the next step is to understand the mirror of reality. The outer world does not operate independently of your inner assumption. It is a reflection, a perfect echo, a faithful correspondent to what you hold within. Your SP, every circumstance, every glance, every word they speak, is merely the projection of the state you maintain silently, persistently, and unwaveringly. What you see outside is never the creator. It is the result, the image of your inner reality. Many labor under the illusion that they must first manipulate the outer world, that their SP must act a certain way before the inner shift can succeed. But this is a reversal of the natural law. The unseen always precedes the seen. You cannot wait for them to smile, to reach out, to chase you, and then assume the feeling of fulfillment. You must assume the end now, and the mirror will inevitably show it. It may take the form of a text, a glance, a conversation, a longing that cannot be ignored, but it is always the mirror responding, never the initiator. Consider how reflections work in a pond. If the water is still, the image is perfect. But when the water is disturbed, the reflection is broken, fragmented. Your inner state is the water. Your SP's actions are the reflection. If your inner state trembles with doubt, the reflection will tremble as well. But if your inner state remains still, centered, assured, the reflection becomes perfect, unwavering, inevitable. You hold the power not by chasing, but by stabilizing, by centering, by creating a stillness that cannot be denied. Every interaction, every sign, every seeming coincidence is the mirror bending to your assumption. They do not act randomly. They are not resisting or testing you. They are responding unconsciously but inevitably to the inner world you have created. The moment you recognize this, you release all outer tension. You no longer measure, no longer doubt, no longer chase. You simply maintain your state, and the outer world in perfect fidelity conforms. You may think, if I am so powerful within, why do I not see immediate results? The answer lies in perception. The mirror of reality is precise, but it is precise according to the invisible laws. Timing, preparation, alignment, these are not obstacles, they are aspects of the mirror reflecting the entirety of your inner world. The reflection must be consistent with all that you are within. Every doubt, every worry, every fear distorts the image. Every conviction, every assumption, every feeling of fulfillment clarifies it. Let us now examine the subtle ways in which the mirror operates. Your SP may appear distant, indifferent, or unaware, yet these outer appearances are only shadows. If your inner state remains unshaken, if your conviction is absolute, the mirror cannot help but align them with your desire. They will begin to see you, think of you, long for you, and move toward you, because the mirror is responding to the force that is you. It is responding to the self you have assumed, the end you have inhabited, the stillness you maintain. Notice that the mirror is impartial. It does not judge. It does not favor. It does not delay from malice. It is an exact reflection. If love is absent, the cause is always internal, never external. If pursuit does not manifest, the cause is always in the assumption, never in the SP. This is liberating, for it shifts the focus entirely inward. You are never at the mercy of another's actions. You are the architect, the cause, the source. The outer world must, by law, obey the inner. You must therefore become a master of your inner state. Each thought, each feeling, each imagined scene is a brushstroke painting the reflection you will see. Visualize their affection, the IR longing, their desire. Feel it as a present reality, not a wish. Immerse yourself in the scene until it becomes more real than the outer world itself. Then, like a mirror catching light, your SP's actions will align perfectly and inevitably with that inner reality. And do not underestimate the power of subtlety. The mirror does not respond only to grand gestures. It responds to the quiet, persistent, unwavering feeling of your assumption. A smile you imagine, a conversation you replay in your mind, a tender thought you hold about them. These are all echoes that will shape the reflection. You need not demand, insist, or act outwardly. The mirror works silently, invisibly, yet it is unstoppable when your inner state is consistent and alive. So observe, without judgment, the reflection of your inner world. See each action of your SP not as random, not as coincidence, but as evidence of the inner state you maintain. If the mirror does not yet show perfection, examine your assumption, refine it, clarify it, strengthen it. The mirror cannot fail. Only the clarity of your inner vision can falter. Maintain the stillness, the certainty, the living reality of the fulfilled end, and the reflection will conform. Your SP will chase you naturally, irresistibly, effortlessly, because the mirror is compelled to obey the reality you have claimed within. And now understand the profound power of silence over struggle. The outer world may tempt you to act, to prove, to speak, to chase, but the true art lies in quiet alignment. Struggle is the declaration of lack. Every attempt to force, every anxious word, every gesture of pleading only reinforces absence. The one who masters stillness does not need to strive. They have entered a domain where desire manifests naturally, where love flows to them as effortlessly as sunlight touches the earth. In silence, the unseen forces gather, guided by the certainty that resides within. Consider how rivers carve valleys, not by rushing violently, but by the patient, consistent flow of water. They do not fight the rock. They move with the power that is already theirs. So it is with your SP. The outer pursuit is unnecessary because the inner current has been established. When you rest in the reality of fulfillment, when you dwell in the feeling of already being loved, your SP is compelled to respond. They feel it before they see it, long before they understand it, because you have created a resonance that cannot be ignored. Many confuse effort with action. They believe that more messages, more calls, more chasing will bring the desired response. But all such striving only amplifies absence, only confirms the lack. The wise one knows that inner alignment is the true action. To imagine, to feel, to dwell in the end, to maintain the self-concept of being fully cherished. This is the only work required. The outer world will catch up. The unseen will arrange circumstances. Your SP will move toward you not by accident, not by sea, coercion, but as a natural consequence of your inner stillness. Observe too how struggle breeds resistance. When you chase, when you plead, when you strive, the other is pushed away, unconsciously repelled by the vibration of desperation. But in the quiet of inner certainty, there is no force to resist. There is only an irresistible presence. A gravity that draws without effort, a magnet that compels without demand. Silence does not mean inactivity. It is the confident action of one who knows the end is already accomplished. Think of the night sky, vast, still, infinite. Stars move in their courses not because of struggle, but because of the balance and order that already exists. They shine, they revolve, they align perfectly and effortlessly. So too does your SP respond to your inner stillness. They are drawn as naturally as the stars follow their path, compelled by forces unseen, unable to resist the attraction you have assumed within yourself. Your certainty becomes their unconscious guide, your stillness their invisible compass. The temptation to react is great. The mind whispers doubts, the heart aches in impatience, and the body urges action. Yet each reaction weakens the very force you have cultivated. To remain silent, to remain aligned, to observe without interference is the highest mastery. Your SP senses it. They are drawn not to your words, but to the vibration of your inner being. And that vibration, steady, unwavering, magnetic, is irresistible. Even when the outer world appears stagnant, even when messages go unanswered, even when their presence seems distant, the wise one does not falter. The outer world is never the cause, it is always the reflection. You are the origin. To break the habit of struggle, to embrace the power of silence, is to place yourself in harmony with the law that governs attraction. It is to move beyond doubt, beyond fear, beyond effort, and to allow the unseen to orchestrate the pursuit effortlessly. You may ask, how long must I remain silent, unmoved, aligned? The answer is as long as it takes to feel the end within, as long as it takes for your inner state to be unwavering, as long as it takes to embody the certainty of being fully loved. Time is irrelevant to the one who inhabits the end. Outer delay is but a shadow, a test of faith, a measure of inner consistency. The moment your inner reality is complete, outer alignment becomes inevitable. This is the secret many overlook. Struggle creates delay. Silence produces acceleration. Anxiety repels. Certainty attracts. Desperation drives away. Calm assurance draws near. Your SP, sensing the unshakable stillness, cannot resist. They feel compelled to move toward you, to reach for you, to desire you, because the energy you emanate is irresistible. It is not effort, not pleading, not chasing. It is quiet mastery, the art of being already fulfilled, already loved, already chosen. And as you cultivate this silence, you notice the subtle changes. Thoughts of your SP appear unbidden. Small signs, small coincidences, synchronicities begin to appear. These are the first echoes of alignment. Do not dismiss them. Do not interrupt the flow with worry or effort. Allow them to grow naturally. Your inner quiet will amplify them, your assumption will solidify them, and the outer world will eventually reflect the full measure of your inner conviction. In silence, in stillness, in inner certainty, you hold the power. Struggle is abandoned. Effort is unnecessary. Your SP is drawn irresistibly, inevitably, naturally. And you come to see that nothing could have forced this. Only the quiet, unwavering, magnetic alignment of your inner reality could compel the outer world to respond in such perfect obedience. And now we arrive at the inevitable return. Once you have assumed the end, once you have cultivated the self that is complete and magnetic, once you have dropped all strain and embraced stillness, once you have lived in the end and allowed the mirror of reality to reflect your inner state, there is only one possible outcome. Your SP must come. It is not a matter of chance, not a matter of persuasion, not a matter of waiting for the stars to align. It is a law, precise, unyielding, and absolute. What you assume inwardly manifests outwardly, and once the alignment is perfect, the return is inevitable. Consider the way gravity draws. The sun does not chase the planets, yet the planets revolve faithfully, obedient to a force they cannot resist. So too does your SP move toward you when the inner force of assumption, self-concept, and silent mastery is fully established. They are bound to the reality you hold. They may appear to act independently, but their actions are only the reflection of the inner truth you maintain. It is not manipulation. It is not coercion. It is simply the natural unfolding of the law. Many fear impatience. They fear absence. They fear the delay of the outer world. Yet all outer appearances are powerless against the inner conviction. The one who has assumed the end does not need to push, coax, or strive. They do not plead or persuade. Their SP cannot resist because the inner reality is already fulfilled, already complete, already unavoidable. Just as the tide cannot resist the pull of the moon, your SP cannot resist the magnetic force of your inner certainty. Let us examine the subtleties of this inevitable return. It is rarely sudden or violent. It unfolds in perfect timing, in perfect order. Thoughts arise, desires awaken, glances linger, and actions are drawn toward you with a gentle inevitability. You do not need to question, to doubt, or to force it. Every action, every encounter, every word your SP offers is a natural consequence of the inner world you have created. The return is not something you chase. It is a response to the energy you emit, and that energy is unstoppable once it is fully aligned. You may ask, what if they resist? What if they seem unaware? Outer resistance. C is never permanent, never absolute. It is merely the shadow of inconsistent assumption, the temporary echo of doubt that lingers in the mind. When your inner state remains unwavering, when your self-concept remains complete, even apparent resistance dissolves. The SP is drawn, almost unconsciously, to the life, the certainty, the magnetic presence you have assumed. Their steps, their thoughts, their longings, all bend to the alignment you maintain. Notice the beauty of inevitability. There is no struggle, no desperation, no pleading. The law operates with perfect impartiality. It is neither cruel nor hurried. It simply fulfills the pattern you have established within. Once you hold the end as accomplished, once you inhabit a self that is irresistible, once you maintain the quiet mastery over your thoughts and feelings, the return cannot fail. Your SP is compelled not by logic, not by persuasion, not by outside influence, but by the inner reality you have created. The inevitable return is also a test of faith. Can you remain unmoved in the face of outer silence? Can you continue to dwell in the end, to live as though love is already fulfilled, even when appearances contradict it? To do so is to demonstrate mastery. To do so is to allow the law to operate without interference. Every doubt, every need, every anxious thought is a delay. Every quiet assumption, every living in the end, every magnetic thought brings the return closer, sharper, and more certain. Understand that the SP's return is not simply a reward for your patience. It is the natural unfolding of the law. They are drawn, compelled, magnetized by the energy of fulfillment, by the state of being that has already taken place within you. It is the reflection of your inner world, the mirror responding to your certainty. They may try to resist, they may appear indifferent, they may even forget momentarily, yet the pull is irresistible. It is the same force that governs the tides, the planets, the stars. The universe does not negotiate with doubt, but it obeys certainty. And so you see the elegance of this process. First comes assumption, then self-concept, then the abandonment of effort, then living in the end, then reflection in the outer mirror, then mastery of silence, and finally, the inevitable return. It is a sequence precise, unstoppable, and beautiful. There is no failure in this law, no exception, no error. Once your inner reality is established and unwavering, the outer world conforms naturally. Take comfort, therefore, in your power. Recognize that your SP's chase is not a matter of whim or desire on their part, but a response to the truth you hold within. Their thoughts, their feelings, their actions all bend in perfect obedience to the law you have assumed. They move toward you because they must. The return is as certain as the sun rising, as the tide flowing, as the seasons changing. The SP cannot resist the gravity of your fulfilled assumption, the magnetism of you. Self-concept. The inevitability of the end already accomplished. It is here, in this quiet recognition, that you realize mastery is not external, it is internal. You do not chase, you do not demand, you do not strive. You simply become, you simply assume, you simply rest in the end. And in that rest, In that alignment, in that perfect inner reality, your SP's return is no longer a question. It is an inevitable, natural, and beautiful certainty. Thank you for joining me on this journey into the unseen power of assumption, self-concept, and effortless attraction. By understanding how to shift your inner world, live in the end, and embody the magnetic version of yourself, you now hold the keys to naturally drawing your SP toward you without struggle or chase. Remember, your outer reality is always a reflection of your inner state, and by mastering your thoughts, feelings, and assumptions, love will follow you effortlessly. If you apply these principles consistently, you will witness the irresistible pull of your SP aligning with the reality you have assumed. Stay consistent, trust the process, and embrace the power of living in the end. Thank you for watching, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell to continue receiving more transformational insights on manifestation, love, and personal empowerment.